Hey, I'm straight up off the block, hopped in the phone and pushed the top back. I've been hustling for a long time and I can't stop that. Big like I'm that, best believe it, and them all back. Yeah, I be ballin' all the time. I'm point guard and a quarterback.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Sports and Culture interviews that we like to call the Spotlight interviews. Today, of course, I have two extremely important guests with me, which I'm going to introduce both of them very shortly. But as always, we got to pay the bills to start everything off. This podcast, I guess you can call it a podcast now, since it's been a series of these interviews with CC, is brought to you by the Carolina Law Group. Guys, I've been pitching it every show I'm on, everywhere I go. We are in the middle of a food drive right now with me and the Carolina Law Group. Go to any one of the four locations, which is Greenville, Spartanburg, Greer, and Columbia. Yes, we are also in Columbia with the Carolina Law Group. We are doing a food drive. We are collecting non perishable items, unexpired goods. You can drop those off at any of the four locations. We definitely can use your help. Let's get these law offices filled up, please. So today I have with me, of course, CC Ivery, who is over Hoop It Up for the HBCUs. And also, we have a very, very special guest from Clinton College, the athletic director, Daphnie Johnson. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, what we're going to do, as always, we're going to recap the following week, which is at your school, Miss Johnson. And then I want to do something different this time for our interviews is let you have the floor. We're going to talk about, the scene in the HBCUs, what it's like being on campus, some of the difficulties and some of the greatness that is in these historically black university colleges.
Awesome.
CC, let's kick everything off, man. We just finished another college, and I would say another success because anytime we're able to touch someone and bring the attention of the Hoop It Up tour, I consider that a success. For the newer viewers that's tuning in, if you can just start off, of course, what Hoop It Up is all about and what we're trying to bring to these HBCUs.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for taking the time out to set all this up um, and allow us a platform to share the importance of our HBCUs in the state of South Carolina. Um, but the Hoop It Up 3x3 HBCU Challenge is a intramural 3x3 basketball tournament that we are taking across the state to the HBCU institutions and universities to give a platform not only to show the HBC, expose the HBCUs and give them an opportunity to tell their stories, but to give the students, the general students, the non-scholarship athletes, an opportunity to participate um, in a global brand, but also give them an opportunity to get out there to showcase their talents. And so we've had the privilege of getting on these campuses and interacting with the students, of course, the ADs, our auntie now, Miss Johnson. Just meeting marvelous people, man, and hearing
Wow.
their story and
Yeah.
hearing their needs. And so, I'm just thankful for the opportunity of having this platform, which is brought to you by the guys at Hoop It Up. Um, of course, Hoop It Up is owned by Kevin Garnett's Big Ticket LLC. Shout out to Ticket. Big shout out to Dan and George and John and those guys up at Hoop It Up. But it's just a platform, man, that has allowed me an opportunity to showcase these institutions, man, and the great people and the work that they're doing. But in doing that great work, also allowing them to share their stories of the things that they are deprived from, which is more importantly the funding from the HBCU levels and HBCUs from the state level and the federal level. I wanted to take this opportunity to allow them to share their story so that you can hear it, directly from the source, not just us, because we're only there for 5 hours throughout the weekend, max. But they're there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, trying to figure out the best way to provide ample opportunity and quality educations to these students. So, this the least that we could do,
Right.
I feel. But that's Hoop It Up in the gist, man. And we're looking to do some big things in the future with these HBCUs. But my goal overall, man, is to bring some quality exposure and raise some funds. I want
Yes.
to get some people from the state level. I want their eyes to peel back, and I want people to dig deep. I want them to look themselves in the mirror and say, "Are we doing all that we can do?" I've said it 1,000 times with no disrespect, but with the utmost respect for our fellow institutions and universities across the state, which are doing marvelous things. But these HBCUs, man, they doing phenomenal things without the adequate or the equal resources. So just
Hmm.
imagine if they had, a fourth of some of those budgets, what they could do and what these students can be.
And Ms. Johnson, we're gonna go to you on this before we, of course, getting into the complexities of HBCUs.
Yes.
With having Hoop It Up there this the previous weekend, what was that experience like for you having them on your campus to showcase your kids?
You guys made dreams come true, really. Opportunities. It seemed like to them that, hey, the NBA came to Clinton College, and, right? And we're able to showcase our skills. They're non-scholarship athletes, just as Mr. Ivory stated, and to have the attention to come to Rock Hill in that little corner of Crawford Road, Clinton College, where they were able to showcase themselves and also market Clinton College. They were in my office all day today. They called on Sunday, they text on Sunday. AD Johnson, are they coming back? Are we going to be able to participate again? We really love the atmosphere. We really love the crew that came in to allow us to showcase our skills, even if we don't make it to the finals. Just the fact that they thought about Clinton College, it resonated with them. So we thank you all.
Uh, and CC, being the visionary behind this and putting everything together, when you hear testimonies like that, what does that feel, knowing that this is your baby and this is the feedback that you're getting?
And it's humbling, man. I'll be completely honest with you, bro. It's so humbling because I've stated to you 1,000 times, man. My upbringing is humbling. My grandmother, my moms, and my aunts. I feel like I'm doing them justice. I'm giving them their flowers, so to speak, um, for doing it the right way.
Mm.
Raising me with principles and morals, man. That I've always said, I won't get away from. I never detach myself from being um, a kid that had those upbringings, and so I remember going off to college, man, and having those aspirations of playing college ball, but I knew it was so much more that went into that. And then it wasn't until I became a father, became a man, that I started to realize what their sacrifices was.
Hmm.
So when I got the opportunity to embark on this, man, it was no way that I was going, for one, let the students down, let the institutions down, but most importantly, not let that village that gave me the tools, I wasn't gonna let them down. So I don't carry that lightly. I definitely believe in paying it forward, so to speak. And so to hear Miss Johnson say that, and the way the students responded, man, I mean, you would have thought we was in, you know, the Dean Dome or something. We was in the
It
Boston
was,
Garden,
it
man.
was
The
loud
way
in
they
there.
was, yeah, they was
Yeah.
loud. They was live, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
you got the goosebumps, and it was like, this is why you do it. You know,
Right.
this is why you do it. And if you
Right.
don't get anything else out of it, the smiles and the reaction that those kids had, because
Right.
we were all 17, 18, 19 years old,
Yes.
and to see them with that type of joy, even if it was momentarily, I would do it all over again because it was worth it. You know,
Yes.
it was absolutely worth it, man. And so hearing that motivates me even more to want to do more, to ask people to get involved, you know, even if it's not on this platform, you know, still reach out to an institution that's nearby or close to you. And if it's $1, you know, that dollar will go a long way. But I just don't want $1. You know, I believe in prayer, bro. You know, I believe in the good man upstairs, and you know, I just don't believe no dream is too big.
Mm.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't. I believe in the impossible. You know, I believe that, you know, we doing something great here by, you know, giving these kids the tools that they're going to need to be young adults, you know, in a cruel society sometimes.
Right.
But you know,
Mhm.
if we continue to do our part, you know, when it comes their time, they're going to do their part, because
Absolutely.
you know, we're not gonna get biblical, but you know, you train up a child in the way that they should go, bro,
That's
and
right. That's
you
right.
know,
They
it's
won't
gonna
forget.
always come back. They'll never
Yeah.
forget. It's always
Never
gonna
forget.
come back twofold. So I believe we raising giants, man. I believe we giving them the necessary tools. I absolutely do.
Absolutely. And shout
Okay.
out to my wife for tuning in. She, of course, is agreeing with
Yay!
everything.
That's our
Hi,
camera girl there, you know.
Yeah,
sister.
everybody who was on campus, man, those pictures that you're seeing floating around on Instagram, everybody who came in my DMs, those were shot by my wife. So she's
Shout
you
out.
know,
Shout out my sister.
yeah, it's a team effort over here in the Butler
Yeah.
household. But of course, this is we're gonna do this with the next couple of schools and definitely like next year. I think this was an excellent idea of bringing Ms. Johnson on so we could get, you know, you're on the ground, you're doing the work in these HBCUs on
Yes.
a daily basis. So we definitely want to bring someone from the school on our platform as well, so you can share your testimony and what it's like being on that campus. But to kind of, you know, start from the beginning, how did you get into this journey of becoming an athletic director?
Well, being a former collegiate athlete myself, I always aspired to work in sports. Um, of course, I wanted to play professionally. Um, and we have to also realize some of our kids don't understand the reality of becoming a professional athlete. Um, they don't. Um, we're looking at 1 in 1,000 chance that you'll get an opportunity to play professionally. So you have to have that plan B. And I was always rooted and grounded in athletics because my twin sister and I, we used to run around behind my eldest cousin. He was a great basketball player in my hometown. Shout out to Gainesville, Florida, y'all.
Oh yeah,
Eastside
Florida
High
Gators.
School Rams.
Mhm.
Yes. And from that spark, it inspired me to want to be within athletics. Athletics was and still is my safe haven.
Mhm.
And I can relate to these kids because athletics is their safe haven, right? Sometimes athletics takes you away from what you're dealing with on the outside, right?
Absolutely.
The outside, the inside, home issues. Um, Sometimes it draws people to athletics. And so by me being in athletics and wanting to remain there after college, it always inspired me to work with the youth. Even while I was in high school and in college, I always worked with youth. I remember working at the Recreation Center, the Blue Center on 8th Avenue in Gainesville, Florida, where the recreation director was the late great Kelly, and he always used to say, "You're going to be a coach one day," and I was like, "No, no, no, no." My mom said, "You're going to be a teacher." No, 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 no. So I received a degree in business administration, but guess what happened? I went back to the roots of education, and because of the connection with young people, I taught in middle school, 8th grade ELA, but sports was always there. I coached AAU for young girls, young guys as well. So just navigating, having that foundation in sports, it inspired me to want to become an AD. I did not see women ADs when I came along. I just didn't see them. They were far and few. And so I made up in my mind, I made my bucket list, if I may say, that one day I want to become an athletic director. I want to be able to help change the trajectory of a young person's life, right? And if it's sports, because that is a passion for me, I don't feel that I go to work. When I go to Clinton College and I enter my office, I'm there to mentor, to cultivate, right? To love, sometimes, you know, to show ramifications of the actions that you have no business doing, right? I'm there to correct and to steer because we're leading the next generation. And there might be a young lady there that aspires to become an athletic director. So guess what? Now, I look like her. She can touch me, right? I can guide her. And even with my male students, they are intrigued with the fact that they have a female AD. They do. And just the mere fact that I'm teaching my guys how to be gentlemen. As I say to them, you might meet your wife in college. Young ladies might meet their husbands in college. So I'm teaching them how to usher a woman into a door, how to usher a woman into her seat, how to tie a tie, right? How to shake a lady's hand. My assignment is to lead and guide and to leave a legacy, because one day they're going to be head of households. And what did A.D. Johnson impart into their lives? How was I able to help them become, right? Because someone helped me become. And that is our mandate. We have to pull up somebody from the rear, from the bottom, from the gutter, right? And lead them to the brook, lead them to the promised land, if I may say. And so getting into, from growing up as a little girl, playing sports all of my life, being active, I always aspired to be in a career field for sports. And so there was a door that was open for me. And in prayer, this is my assignment. You know, we have an assignment. We have an assignment. We owe it to them. So when I hear people say we don't owe anything to these young people, yes, we do. We're responsible for teaching and guiding. And so athletics is my calling. I'm sent to this earth where athletics is used as a tool to help draw someone else and help build character. That is the key for our young people. And as I state to my kids on a daily basis, there are two things that as African Americans, we outright own. One, the Black church, and two, the HBCU. We own those outright. We fought for those outright. We died for those outright, right? And so what greater place than to come when it's yours? They own it. And so you give ownership, you delegate to them. This is yours. Now, how are you going to make it? How are you going to build it? How are you going to market Clinton College when you graduate? What are you going to say to the people that you encounter? And when that letter comes in the mail as an alumnus, are you going to give back? Or are you going to run away from what was imparted to you? Because it was for us, by us. That's my story, Tyler. That's my story, Mr. Ivery.
Man, whew.
Yeah, I know, right? It's motivational. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, it's authentic. It's organic. It's nothing planned. And I told her, you know, her enthusiasm is infectious. You know, it just is something that just runs, that you just, you know, it makes you refuse to let the mantle down. because you know that you're standing on so many shoulders.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I'm always telling the young men and the young women that come in the gym, and they have those aspirations of being professional athletes. But I always try to embark on them. Don't make that your ceiling. You know, bust that glass ceiling that all we can do is run, jump, and catch.
Right.
You know, but bust that ceiling, man. You know, don't ever put limits on what you can be, and don't ever let anyone tell you what you can't be.
That's right.
You know, and so I told Coach Miss Johnson that, you know, it's just infectious, man. You know, and so I understand. I don't know if the students really understand right now because of their age and their
Right.
maturity level, but it is something that I pray that 20 years from now, 25 years from now, they sit back and say, man, we had a gym here. You know, we
Right.
had something that was just pure. And you
Mhm.
know good people when you come across them.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, and those are the ones that you want to help. You know, no matter what it is. I told you, you know, let's put boots on the ground. Let's
Yeah.
plan a golf tournament. Let's do whatever we need to do, not just at
Right.
Clinton, but all the HBCUs. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
you know, my wish is just to have all of them in one room, and I don't have to say a word. I just want to be able to be in that room and stand back from afar and just say, "Look at what we done."
Yes.
You know, and we did
Yeah.
it with no arguments, but
Right.
you know, we did it with a purpose, and that was understanding that we got young people looking at us. You know, we
Yes.
got young people, you know, listening to everything that we say,
That's
and
right.
more importantly, you know, they are looking at us as the example in which they shall follow.
Right.
And so if we're gonna do it, you know, Tyler knows what I said. You know, we're gonna do it always in the spirit of excellence. We never gonna shortcut anything that we do with this HBCU 3x3 challenge. We're gonna pour back into what poured into us. You know, all of us come from something.
Right.
You know, and you know, for me, man, I sit back, and I was having this conversation today with somebody, and I was asked, why do I do what I do? And I had to take a moment and reflect on that, because in the world would say I've done my job. My kids are college students. You know, they are bright kids. They have the right upbringing. So as the world said, I've done my responsible duty as a father. I gave my kids the tools that my father never gave me. But how can I walk away knowing that it's another 200 or 300 kids in my neighborhood that's dreaming?
Yes.
You know, they
Right.
dreaming,
They're
but they don't
dreaming.
have the resources. They
Right.
don't have the outlet to show them how to go to their guidance counselor and say, am I taking the right classes to go to college? Is my GPA there? You know, a lot of younger parents don't know about FAFSA. You know,
Right.
it's a lot of things that we just don't know about in our communities, because so many times some of us make it out and never come back because the world
Mhm.
has told us that we've made it. So why
Right.
should I go back? No, that's just not the way that it should be. So I refuse to be one of those individuals, man. I just believe in giving back, and you give to it hurt, because you know it. Nothing comes in that closed fist, man. You know, so that's why I'm always extending it. I'm always opening my hand, my door, my information. I'm gonna always share it. You know, I'm never gonna be a closed book.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that personally. For the fact, you know, we only met at the camp, QB Legacy camp,
Yeah,
and you open up this opportunity for me to join you up on the tour, you know, and didn't
Wow.
know me outside of those 15 minutes conversations that we have at the camp. So I'm gonna always, you know, thank you for this opportunity. And Ms. Johnson, kind of, you know, to get back onto the campus,
Yes.
as I sat there on those steps that's behind us in the photos, like,
Right.
and I said this when I was at Benedict as well, there was this feeling that came over me,
Mm.
almost like when people say they go to Africa just to get a little bit closer to the ancestors, like they're on the motherland.
Right.
There was just a completely different feeling just sitting there on the steps. Like, I need to be doing more to help everybody in this school.
Right.
What what can I do to help? Then we took the tour, and
Mhm.
it really resonated me. Like, we need more resources into these HBCUs. And it
Right.
was way more things that I would have never expected. So how can someone, and this can be for the both of you, but I want to start off with you, Ms. Johnson.
Mhm.
How can someone do more to help our HBCUs, like on the infrastructure level, whether it's coming in and painting buildings or remodeling bathrooms or even purchasing appliances?
Right. And you stated, Tyler, the key thing is you had the opportunity to take a tour, right? So we need us to come home, right? Whether you graduated from an HBCU or not, it's still yours,
Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
right?
that's a
So
quote.
we have to invest in ours. Tyler, Mr. Ivory, we can't expect Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, all of them to give to us, right? We have to be able to do it for ourselves. That's what we have to do. And we got to be able to reach out to the community. We need to be able to draw them in, say, hey, let's take a tour. Let's go, let us show you our home, right? Because a lot of people, they have a misunderstanding. They've heard things, but they're not putting their hands in to help.
Hmm.
You have thousands of people that drive by Clinton College every day. Every day. That school has been there since 1894 on Crawford
Mm.
Road. Every day. And they just couldn't put a check in the mail or come on campus and say, listen, what can I do? What can we do as a community first for Clinton College? Bringing in outsiders, right? Because I look at it as we're an investment. We're investing in lives, right? We've been there since 1894, investing in Black lives because the founders believe that Black lives matter. Starts with the community first, right? So when we do outreach, community service events, taking the kids to, we sponsored a elementary school this year. And we were there the first day of school, welcoming the students back, right? And those little kids were so excited to see these athletes hugging on them, loving on them, and saying, welcome back to school, boys and girls. They'll never forget it. That can spark an interest into a kid that, hey, these people from Clinton College came just to welcome me back in school. I might consider Clinton College. I might. And then the parents. We had people right there in Rock Hill. How do you not know Clinton College is in Rock Hill? And you're a resident. When I Googled, before I came here, when I Googled Rock Hill, Clinton College didn't come up. Winthrop University, York Tech came up. I literally just had to type in Clinton College name. So what that told me was we're non-existent in some other people's eyes, that we don't matter. And we've allowed it. We've allowed ourselves to be non-existent because we didn't push the button, Mr. Ivory. We didn't keep pushing the button. Somewhere along the way from the founders, we stopped pushing the button. We stopped.
It's an excellent point.
Yeah. And so we have to pick up. We have to get back into our rightful position. You know, go back and pick up where we left off, and we have to do better. To know better is to do better.
Absolutely.
So when you all came and I had the opportunity to take you all on a tour, I was excited to do it. Really, some would be embarrassed, right? I was excited because it brings exposure to the reality, to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It brings exposure, right? We tend to, as a culture, you know, the old saying is, what goes on in this house stays in this house, right?
Yeah.
And that's in our culture. So we don't want the outside world to know really what's going on. Really, where's the funding? Really, what has been done with the flow, cash flow, for hundreds of years to keep this wonderful college, illustrious Clinton College, open to Black students? We have to figure that out, and we have to be able to bring awareness that there is a problem, and stop hiding behind the veil and struggling each year to survive. Because the struggle is real at HBCUs. We want to be able to have these kids enjoy their college experience. How can you enjoy it when you're living with mold?
Yeah. So far.
How can you enjoy it when you have one washer, one dryer in a dormitory with over 40 young ladies in it? How can you enjoy that experience?
It's nothing there. It's nothing there.
Yeah. Can't enjoy that experience. And then we're asking them to file their FAFSA, the government funding, and I can't have a clean shower? Something's wrong with that picture. Something's wrong with that picture. We can't have an up-to-date residence halls. In my day, they called them dorms, Tyler, Mr. Ivery, but they call them residence halls now. I can't have a modernized gymnasium. As an athlete, I don't have a modernized locker room. But you're asking me to give 100% in the classroom and on the court or on the field.
Yeah.
But then you send me back to the dorm with a bologna sandwich.
Yeah. It's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
So guess what? That's why we have to, I'm there to pull up these sleeves. We got to go to work, right? I refuse to have my student athletes go back to the dorm after they just played a game, giving 100% on a bologna sandwich. I refuse it. I refuse to do so. So we have to find ways, right, on how to bring in the resources with what we have. When you all go on many of these campuses, these coaches, a lot of these things that we do, we pay out of pocket. We draw from our savings, taken away from our family, right? We take out loans. Yeah, we do that. We draw from our 401k when the budget office, the CFOs are saying, no, we don't have the money. We needed some water, simple water for a sporting event. I shouldn't have to wait for someone to approve the AD to get water. Shouldn't have to.
No.
I shouldn't have to.
No.
Literally.
That's a necessity.
Submit a requisition to get approved for water. To supply to athletics. I shouldn't have to do that. I should get a credit card, Tyler, Mr. Ivery. I should get a credit card and let's just go swipe it.
That's amen.
Right? Yep. So when those kids apply to the college, You didn't wait 2 months, 3 months, or a semester to get the funding from the government. You didn't. When they had a balance, that balance said it is due before you can what? Enroll.
Amen.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So why is there a thin line? Why is there a difference? I see it one-sided. It's not the kids. It's the adults, the leaders. Yeah, it's the leaders.
And we have to force them.
Yeah, we
have
have
to force them. We have to force them to show.
We have to
do the right thing.
Do the right thing. So since I've been at Clinton College, it has been 3 months as of October 18th. I've been there 3 months. The CFO advised me that you have raised more money than your 4 predecessors or beyond. So how could I take that? One, I was happy because, hey, okay, obviously I did a good job. But then at the same time, I was appalled. How in 3 months, 2.5 months that I've been at Clinton College, that I raised more money in fundraising than any other athletic director. That's appalling to me. Not a lot of money.
Yeah, and as an athlete and as a media company who's following all these athletes, the biggest thing right now is the transfer portal. How,
yes,
as an institution, are you able to keep your athletes when this is the standard of living of what they have to go through each semester?
Right. It's interesting, Tyler, the dynamics of it. As I researched the type of students that are at Clinton College, made me think, how did they get there? Like, how did these these are elite athletes. I can't wait till you all see them. Yeah. These are kids that I know can go play for Clark Atlanta, that can go to Winthrop and play, that can at least try out for the University of South Carolina and make a run for the team. Right? But how did you get there? I was speaking to a kid that came from New York. He has a story. I can't wait for you all to come back. He's on the basketball team. And he shared with me his plight. I'm not going to say his name. And he said, A.D. Johnson, thank you for Midnight Madness. Thank you. Comes into my office. Now, when you first meet him, he has an air, most people would misconstrue it as he's arrogant.
That's New Yorkers, though.
Yeah.
New York, right?
That's just New York.
Yeah. So, I mean, when this brother walks in the gym, anywhere, you notice him, right?
Wow.
And he was vulnerable. He allowed himself to be vulnerable with me because he has this air. And, sometimes they just stroll in your office and see that is my opportune time to have a nice conversation, because one, you came to me for a reason. You came in my office for a reason, not just to chill. So then I say, okay, God, what do you want me to share? How am I going to pour out to this kid? And this young man shared with me that he came there with the clothes on his back, that him and his siblings were in horrible living situations in New York, where rats and rodents bit them every night. So I'm sitting here listening at this story, and I'm looking at this young man. How did you make it out of there? And he shared that because someone said to him that he feels like he thinks he's entitled. He said, I'm not entitled, Miss Johnson. He said, I just had a rough life growing up. He said, whatever I have is because I have it. I did it. I slept on the floor, he said, with my siblings, and we were being eaten up by rats. This is 2022, y'all. I said, how did you find your way to Clinton College? And the former basketball coach is from New York. And so he would go back to New York and get these kids, right, that no one wanted, that people overlooked. 90% of those guys and young ladies that are on those basketball teams were overlooked. One young lady advised me that she was told that she would never go to college, attend college, that she would never be anything. And I said, I beg to differ, because when you cross that stage, when you gain your degree, I want you to take your degree back to Norfolk, Virginia, and you show those teachers that told you you would never attend, let alone graduate from college. Because for certainty, A.D. Johnson is going to help you walk across that stage. Young lady came into my office today, and when you were speaking, Tyler, about they just don't know, that old saying about what you don't know won't hurt you, that's not true. What you don't know will hurt you. She didn't know that she could qualify for work study. Here she is. She shared with me today, A.D. Johnson, I want to play basketball. I have to work though. My mom, I share a car with my mother. My father left us, and I'm helping my mother take care of my siblings. That's a lot for an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
That is huge. So her mind is, I gotta work. So I have to forego my heart's desire. And I asked her, I said, did you ask the financial aid officer about work study? She said, what is work study? She didn't know.
They don't have the knowledge.
Don't have the knowledge.
A lot of that is probably 80% of our community.
Yes. So what I said was, this is what I'm going to do. I emailed the financial aid director, and I said, I would like this young lady to be my work study student. What do I need to do? What paperwork do I need to get? Because she's working. I said, how are you able to attend school? You're working 10 hours a day at a daycare, but you want to play basketball. So she's torn. It is my job to fix it. To fix it for her. So now she's getting work study. She doesn't have to work at the daycare anymore, right? And now she can go do the passion that she has for basketball. She can be a part of it now. That's where we come into play. I could have, most people would have said, oh, well, just, allowed her to walk out of that office.
Yeah.
So her mom, they have to share a car. Her mom works at night, where she babysits her siblings at night. Then she goes to work during the day. Mom can't run errands because she has the car.
Yeah.
One car for a family of 4. And she has an artistic sister.
That is a
so
lot.
I'm going to help her.
Yeah, that's a lot for an 18-year-old. That's a lot for any young person to try to take that responsibility as an adult when you know you have a passion to do something else.
Right.
And you just don't have the resources, being individuals or whatever, to help you navigate that situation. So to hear you say that from an AD, not even an AD, just a human being that's willing to step in and say, you know what, let's do this together.
Right.
I know of some resources that can help you remove yourself from, the trouble, because situations like that and the young man's, now you're talking about psychological.
Yes.
Now you're talking about the mental capacity and the mental fortitude that these kids have to have now, just to make it day by day.
Day by day.
I was, as you were speaking, I was just sitting here thinking, my grandmother and them always used to say, you can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. And I was just here like, I refuse to let that fruit be unsuccessful, just as you stated, because nobody has to go through that. Even on the campus of Benedict and Allen that we've been on, Allen and Benedict and Clinton, you know, you see the need. You know,
Yeah.
you can't ignore it.
Mhm.
You know, you
Right.
as soon as you hit the campus, you see the jubilation, you see the smiles, you get that from the kids. But
Right.
then I'm looking at the surface.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm looking at the foundation. You know, I didn't say
Yeah.
anything to you guys, but I took the double doors up to the restroom, and you know, upon going into the restroom, I'm just observing the hallways. I'm observing everything there, and I'm just like, you know, it's not adding up to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not. You know, my son goes to Winthrop, and they have some really nice residence halls. You know, they have some
Yeah.
really nice residence halls, and
Right.
I'm taking my son out of the blessed situation that he's in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm putting him at a Clinton, at a Benedict, at a Allen, and as a parent, I'm saying to myself, it's no way. You know, I'm thinking about my daughters, you know, one's at North Carolina A&T, one's at Leeds McRae, and I'm looking at the things that they have as
Right.
opposed to what the students at the HBCUs that I've had the opportunity to visit
Right.
have. And I'm saying to myself, it has to be more.
Right.
There has to be more. You know, don't give us everything, because you know, you know, like I know, we're not a people, or we're not individuals that look for handouts. We
Right.
don't look for handouts. You know, we thoroughly believe in, we lace up our boots and we work for it. You
Right.
know, give us what we work for. You know,
Mm-hmm.
give us our opportunities equally. But at the same token, how can it be equal when we're already coming into something 5, 10, 15 generations behind?
Yeah.
We can't catch up. You
Right.
know, we can't catch up no matter how many A's
Right.
we get in the classroom, no matter how many points we score on the court. There's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be a comparison. Why not
Mm-hmm.
just make us individuals and give us what we earned on our own merits? Those HBCUs, you know, Clinton, Benedict, Allen, I keep stressing it, they deserve, in my opinion, the same facilities.
Right.
You know, you have so many amenities at the University of South Carolina, at the University of Clemson, at Furman University, um, Anderson University, USC Upstate.
Right.
But when you get to the HBCUs, and I'm just telling you from what I saw,
Right.
you walk in, there is mold in the
Mm-hmm.
ceilings. There are
Mm-hmm.
laundry rooms with, you know, dirty uniforms sitting over to the side with no laundry detergent.
Right.
You know, the floors are cracked. Um, I was at one campus. I'm not even gonna tell you now. I think the desk came from a middle school. I was like, this cannot be the administration's desk. And I'm like,
Right.
those are old middle school desks. It's just like it was. They went to a warehouse and it was all old stuff that, you
Yeah.
know, was just passed down, and
Right.
take what you need. And
That's
and,
right.
and that should not be, because you know, like I know, Tyler, and I don't know if you noticed it, but when you go in Clinton College, um, by the way, the gymnasium is kept up. I mean, whomever is keeping up that gym is doing a marvelous job,
Great job.
because
Library
the
looks great as well.
oh my god,
Yeah.
it was clean.
Yeah.
You know, it was I mean, it was clean, but you could
Mhm.
tell that somebody did it, and they do it because the kids deserve more, because the kids don't realize
Mhm.
y'all got the bare minimum.
That's right.
Y'all have the bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Yes.
But in spite of all of that, those kids were still in there jumping, screaming,
Yeah.
dancing, having a ball. So just
Yeah.
imagine what they could do with, again, just a fourth of some of these schools' budgets. You know, I'm just appalled by, you know, some of the things that I've saw, man. It's heartbreaking. But
Yeah.
not to squander in what we don't have.
Right.
I'm motivated to understanding how do we get what we need.
Yes.
What's the solution? You know, I want to be
Mhm.
a part of the solution, not what has been going on, what took place 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You know, I thank you for having, you know, the courage to get out and fundraise, in which you should not have to. That should be something that if we want to get out
Mhm.
and fundraise, we will. But we got the necessary resources right now to buy water. Why are you buying water? The athletes need Gatorade. You know how much energy they putting out on that court?
Right.
You know, that's just something that you shouldn't have to ask for. And you
Right.
know, I hope that there are individuals that are watching it, that do watch it. I don't want you to be offended by what we're saying, but I want you to take a step back and say, you know, we've made a mistake. You know, I want individuals to look themselves in the mirror and say, we made a mistake. And, you know, in saying that, what can we do to help? You know, we're not going to change it this week. We're not going to change it next week. But
Mhm.
let's think 10 years down the road at those students that's coming in.
Right.
You know, I would love to see the HBCUs, ADs, and, you know, presidents all sit down at one table and collectively say, you know, how do we build this bridge
Right.
that every student that come through our doors gonna cross it? You know, that old, we leave no man behind. You know, the
No man behind.
military,
Yeah.
you leave no man behind, leave no child behind. You
Right.
know, and I just think with those brains and those gifted minds at those institutions, you know, when you check all egos at the door and say,
Mhm.
we are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and
Right.
that's to serve these children. Let's get
Right.
it together, guys. And you know, I think that the 3x3 challenge, it is from my mouth to God's ears, that it puts something on someone's heart somewhere, and that's in position at the moment to make effective change.
Right.
Say, you know what, we got it wrong, but from this point forward, we're going to do the necessary things to give the students, the administration, and overall these HBCUs everything that they need to lead these kids to promising futures, man. Because I mean, ultimately, they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it.
Right.
So you know, you are doing more than a phenomenal job. I'm telling you,
Thank you.
I'm just impressed by, you know, just your attitude towards the next generation. I mean, I told
Yes.
you this over the phone. It's like you just have that. And I heard you say, you know, you didn't want to get into being a teacher and all of those
Mhm.
things, but you just have that. You have
Yeah.
that umph. You know, some
Thank
people
you.
don't have it because they you know, they don't know what it's like to struggle. When you've had a struggle,
Mhm.
that umph is just, it's in you.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it,
right.
it make it makes you get up and it makes you push. You
Right.
know,
The
through it
grind
all.
is real. The
Yeah,
grind
yeah.
is real. It
It
is.
makes you push, and
Yeah.
you
Makes you
know,
push.
that was the
Right.
thing that I saw in Tyler. And I had met Tyler 15 minutes, but I stood back and I watched the way him and his team worked, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, they got it together. You
Right.
know, the professionalism, the way they handled things. I was listening to the young lady's interview, uh, Donovan, when he was here. I was listening to him interview Ramon. And I told him, I was like, bro, you can't be from around here. Y'all can't be, you know, you know, in Greenville, South Carolina. Cause I'm thinking to myself, you know, they came with, probably, it looked like 1,000 cameras, them big cameras. I was like, woo, what this guy got it together. And I approached him, and I said, brother, I'm trying to embark on something. And I would love to have you and your team, man, be a part of it. We starting this journey with the HBCUs, and we started with one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to serve. And whatever glory we get from it, if we get any glory, nobody has to know, our name. Nobody has to put us on an award. I'm going to do my responsibility as a human being, as a man, as a person, to serve those kids, because they outright deserve every inch of fortitude and hard work that we've gained over the years. We all didn't start out with this knowledge and the information that we got now.
That's right.
Because as an athlete, that's the one stigma that they put on you, that you can't think outside the box. Outside the box. You can't put yourself outside the 94 feet of a basketball court or the 100 yards of a football field. That's all you know. I've always said that I'm more than somebody that just could dribble a basketball or shoot a basketball. I got a brain. And, you guys know it, Tyler. You may have heard the saying before, they always used to say, the elders, use your head for more than a hat rack, boy. Don't just let that thing sit up there and ain't nothing between them. So, man, I am so motivated, if that's the right word, to challenge myself and to challenge my peers.
Right.
Do more. I was talking to Tori, and I said, man, maybe not this year because maybe it's too late, but I want to start a capital campaign, some type of fundraiser that goes viral for the HBCUs. Think about it. You can donate $1, but if we get $1 from 1 million people, now look at how that split up.
Right.
But just think about the people that donate 5 and 10.
Yeah, that's right.
We can do it.
Right, we can. And you said something, Mr. Ivery, that's so key. You asked the question, and Tyler, how do we go from here? Right? What do we do now? We're faced with the issues. We're aware of it, right? Now, what are we going to do? We have to surround ourselves with great people, right? All of us on here, we have a passion for helping. What is it called? Philanthropists? Yes. We all have that passion to give back. So we have to surround ourselves with like-minded people. There's a young man, and I got to give him a shout out. He's from Detroit, Michigan. You got to meet him, Tyler. You got to meet him, Mr. Ivery. You got to get him on the podcast. His name is Swin Appleton. He has a apparel company called Push to Be Great.
Wait, Swin, he commented.
Yes, he's on.
Wow.
Push to Be Great. Listen, he came to see when I spoke about people coming to tour the campus. He flew in from Detroit, Michigan. He took a tour of Clinton College, Payne College. We are collaborating together to start the Rucker Park HBCU Street Ball Classic.
Wow.
The whole school is going to be Payne, and it's going to alternate with Clinton. He started, him and George Hampton, right? Bringing in AD Khan. Shout out to AD Khan, another female AD doing her thing down there at Payne College, Augusta, Georgia. And yours truly, AD Johnson at Clinton College. January 16th, save the date. Push to Be Great, sponsored by Push to Be Great with Rucker Park Classic. We're going to have the first annual tournament on ML King Day. This young brother I call him Shaft, y'all. Y'all got to see his picture. He has donated over 100 uniforms.
Wow.
100. He's given 100 to Clinton College, 100 to Payne College. Wow. He has donated to our inaugural volleyball team. They were decked out last night in their pink gear, right? Donated by Swin Appleton. He would not send me an invoice. I begged him for an invoice. Has not sent me an invoice to this date. He has made apparel polos for my staff. What you saw Midnight Madness last night, Tyler, Push to Be Great. He sponsored us. He donated those polos that my staff was wearing, the polo that I had on. So we're surrounding ourselves with people like Swin, right? He doesn't have to do what he's doing. He's a professional man. He deals with professional athletes, right? And he's giving back to the small HBCU, not the elite, the top epsilon FAMU, nothing against all the other HBCUs. The struggle is real for all of us. But what about the smallest, the least of, as we're deemed the least of us? We're just as mega as everyone else, but we just need a little bit more help.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know if he went to North Carolina A&T, oh yeah, hey, but he found it not robbery to come from Detroit, Michigan, to spend 2 days in Rock Hill, 2 days at Payne College to get this tournament off the ground. So we're surrounding ourselves with like-minded people such as yourselves, Swin Appleton. Then I want to thank Brandon Brown. If I hadn't spoken to Brandon Brown about this event, because you connected with him, Mr. Ivery, right?
Dear friend.
And I wasn't aware of it. So when there's the buzz out, you know, we have to change the narrative, right?
Yeah.
We have to open up. We have to verbalize what we need. And then we have to put it into action. Now, how are we going to get there? I have a $200,000, when you spoke about a campaign, a $200,000 campaign at Clinton College. And realistic, I have to be realistic about the goal. It's a 4-year campaign where I'm reaching out to the alumni, reaching out to the community to help implement more sports, because we do know that sports, it helps enrollment. 90% of our kids at Clinton College are student athletes.
That's staggering.
Yes. So if they leave, Tyler, Mr. Ivery, what happens to Clinton College?
Yeah, non-existence.
Folds. 90% of our students are student athletes. But when you have people that are in position that don't make the best decisions for the young people, because we have to understand this is a different era. We're governed by the AME Zion Church, right? And so how many young people are on that cabinet? How many young people are on the board?
It's probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a church board.
We have to have a voice. They have to have a voice, right? And so you'll see in Division I and Division II, they have SATs. And that's where student athletes, they have a group, an organization where they're able to have a voice about what they want to see, right? Not someone else always telling them what to do. So, for example, today, Tyler, Mr. Ivory, you notice in the gym that bare wall over the bleachers, right? There's nothing in our gym to say, hey, this is a gym other than the floor, right? That I clean. So I'm not just sitting in the office. I'm coming in, I'm dust mopping, I'm throwing trash away, right? So I want to get a mural on that back wall, a bear or something, home of the Golden Bears, right? So I can make that sole decision, But guess who it's for? Them.
Students.
For the students. So I asked for their input, right? And so they're going to give me by the end of next week what they would like to see on their wall. Not what I want to see, but what they want to see. They earned it. They're EMAC champions, men and women. They're champs, right? And so if we ask them to go out there and bring back the chip, now they brought back the chip. Now what?
Now what?
Now what?
Where's the reward? Where's the reward?
Where's the reward? So last night at Midnight Madness, I did a ring ceremony because when they won the championship, and I'm going to call out the school, Warren Wilson, they didn't allow our kids to cut down the net. They said they couldn't do it. Who does that to children? They will never forget that. So A.D. Johnson said, hey, I wasn't there, but guess what? We're going to cut down the nets on your home court in front of your people. So they got presented with their championship rings and they got to cut down the net. They'll never forget that experience.
We'll never forget that moment.
Never.
Because you never get it. You never get it back. You know, that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yes.
Even though it's not televised on ESPN or NBC or CNN or whatever, that moment on that campus will be something that those athletes cherish, whether individuals believe it or not.
Right.
Because it's their moment. Give them that moment to celebrate with their teammates, because nobody knows but the athlete what it's like to go into preseason, to go into 2.5, 3 hour practices. Nobody know what the injuries are like.
Right.
And still have to be a student athlete to go in the classroom and perform.
Right.
You know, nobody knows until you physically have to go through that, what is taken away from you physically. You know, they're young, but at the end of the day, they are sacrificing something.
They are.
So when you take that moment away from them, the question then becomes to them, what was my sacrifice for? What did I go through all of this? Because you know, just as well as I know, as former athletes, you have them 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning runs on that track and in that stadium.
Yes.
You know, you have that 3 p.m. in the sun run. You don't want to do that. You know, if you ain't ran them 20 to 25 suicides, you know, what was the sacrifice for?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, so why take it from them when they earned it? That's what I'm talking about. They earned it.
They
didn't ask you to give them something. They earned those rings. Let them babies cut down that net. That net probably wasn't number 25 cents anyway.
Thank you.
You know,
like you couldn't replace
it.
You
couldn't replace it.
Easily
But,
get another one.
You know, I shared it with you, and I want to publicly share it. You know, that wall was a wall that I did notice, and you know, you sent me photos of the gym, and I said to myself, you know, what could I do at that moment? I was like, what could we do to show our appreciation to the students, to A.D. Johnson, as brothers, you know, Tori and I, my brother Brand Tyler, you know, I collectively sat back and I said, what could we do? You know, I thought about, I said, well, maybe we give them shooting shirts or something. I was like, nah. And so we actually have the banner made. It's actually being shipped. I was tracking it today. I was like, where's this banner at? Where's this banner at? Because I want to get it there. But we have a banner that you guys are going to be able to put up in the gym with the Bear logo on it. It has Home of the Golden Bears. We got the website on it. You know, it's being presented by the Hoop It Up 3x3 tournament. And then I said to myself, what else? You know, I went back and I said, you know what? Let's order one for every school. You know,
Wow.
let's
Awesome.
do something that every school knows that we are a part of them now.
Mhm. Yes.
Their
That is
problem is
incredible.
our problem. You know, when one kid suffer, we all suffer. So,
Mhm.
you know, the young man that you spoke about in New York, you know,
Mhm.
when that banner comes, I'm coming up. I want to, you know, have lunch with him. I want to talk to him. I want to know his story. You know, I
Yes.
want to know how I can help him
Mhm.
as an individual, not as a basketball player. I don't care about the basketball
Right.
because the basketball is just a plus. I want to know what he want to be as a young man, as a
Mhm.
citizen in this society going forward. What do you want to do? And then it's going to be my charge, you know, to help him get there. You know, now I want him to take all of that frustration and all of those tough times and let those moments be what motivate him to be great, be beyond great. You know, go out and
Yeah.
do the impossible, but let those moments fuel you. You know, it happened. You know, you squandered in it, but guess what? You got over. You
Right.
got right. You right here for
Right.
a reason. You
Yeah.
know,
He's a survivor.
yeah, he's more than a survivor. You
Yeah.
know,
Survivor.
he has the whole armor, so to
Yes, he
speak.
does.
You know, and maybe he don't understand what, you know, what that means, but he has the whole armor. Because when you can go through that and come out on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
oh man,
Right.
you got something to share.
Yes.
You have something absolutely to share to
Right.
another young person that might not be going through the exact same
Right.
situation, but there are similarities in
Right.
their stories. And so, yeah, I would love to meet him,
Yeah.
just to have
I
a
call him big
conversation with him.
fella. I call
Yeah.
him big
Oh,
fella,
okay.
Tyler. He's about, I'm gonna say he's about 6'11", 6'10",
Oh,
something
Oh
like
my
easy.
that.
God.
Yeah, and he's the point guard.
The
Oh my
point
God.
guard.
He's a
Is,
point. I
Oh,
told-
he's
whoa.
special. He's special.
yeah,
That's
he's a
another
point.
conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
He's
He's
special.
6'10". He's a point guard, one of the point guards, so he can play 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta come see this guy.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta come see this guy.
You know, kids
Yeah,
like that are phenoms. You know, you don't
yeah,
you can teach talent. You know, you
yeah.
can give a kid the attributes. You know, you
Mhm.
can teach them how to dribble, you can teach them how to shoot, but you
Yeah,
can't teach 6'10", 6'11".
Nah, you
You
can't
yeah,
can't
teach
go
that
in the
at all.
grocery store and buy it. You know,
yeah. And he's a
you know,
slender guy.
that's
He's slender. Um, I said we have to get 80 trying to work on a weight room for y'all. I'm sorry what you have right now, but I'm trying to get them to go to another facility because I call it the barn, Tyler. When I saw that weight room, I said, no, I can't let you all in here. I can't do it. My
Right.
conscience, I can't do it. It's appalling. Because now, I'm thinking of their health, right?
Mm-hmm.
correct.
And
Asbestos, 1865, 1864.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just appalled by how we're turning the blind eye. These kids are going in there. They know, they
Hey,
know they're going in there. And you're going to your nice office on a daily basis,
Well,
very nice office, and they're practicing in the gym, they're using that barn of a weight room, right?
yeah.
So my question is like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I cried yesterday. I
Hmm.
did.
on that note,
Yeah.
we gonna end it here
Oh. Wow.
because it is so much to unpack. Like
Yeah,
I could go on all night, but I don't want the screen to cut us off.
Yeah.
yeah,
But this has been amazing, and
Awesome.
yeah.
this is what I visualized when I wanted to bring these HBU conversations out.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we had so much here. We might have to do like a part two, Miss Johnson.
All right. I'm
We'll
Yeah,
ready.
definitely.
Just let me know.
I would love, Tyler, um, the next segment when we come from Claflin to get Dr. Shelby on from Benedict, reach back out to Sean over at Allen, and let them tell their story, man. Let them get on. Let us be the ones that provide the platform for these stories to be told. Because I think once we start sharing, especially after this interview with AD Johnson, I think some people gonna take a step back and reassess some things. You
Yeah.
know,
No, this
and
conversation tonight was needed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this conversation was intentional by all means. It
Yes.
was intentional.
I love the
It was
intentional. We have
yeah.
to be about intentional.
It was
Yeah, we have
intentional.
to. Let's start the HBCU Roundtable podcast. Let's go.
Hey,
Let's get it.
Let's
you
go.
know
Let's
what?
make it happen.
Yeah,
We
you
should
have a young
start
lady
it.
that's on watching, Coach Barvinia Wooten, Virginia Union's great national Division II champion. She knows about the
Amen.
plight of HBCUs. Coach Wooten, shout out to you for joining us on tonight.
Coach, I would love to have y'all. And you know what?
Hey, tell Coach Wu, and let's all figure it out.
Yeah.
Hoop
Yes,
it up.
yes,
We'll come to Virginia. Hey,
Hey,
yes,
we
yes.
will come to Virginia.
She has a professional women's team in Richmond, Virginia. She wrote her book, Coach Wooten. Type in the name of your book that you just came out with. We got to get it, y'all. We got to promote Black excellence, Black power, right? HBCU graduate of Virginia Union. So we're in the struggle together. We're in this fight together. We have to advocate for each other and not tear each other down. We got to keep pushing. As Swin Appleton says, push to be great, y'all. That's what we're doing. We're teaching these kids how to push, right? But we have to be wise and strategic. We got to use our brain.
I'm telling you know what? I was just thinking, before we end everything, and Tanya, I'm with you. Yeah, I was that kid as well.
Wow.
We start this show, this podcast. We get some big corporate sponsors behind the podcast. We can pour that back into our HBCUs.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely
might
let
be
them
a
know,
round
man.
table
Everything that
discussion for another day.
Yeah, I'm on
Yeah,
board,
let 'em,
Tyler.
let
I'm
'em
on
know.
board.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this,
I'm
yeah,
on
because
board.
this is how we all can give back.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
by having a conversation,
yeah,
we can get a corporate sponsor behind that,
That's right.
backing us,
yeah.
and
We
pour it right
we
back
are,
into our schools.
on our side. We have the nonprofit entity side of it set up. That anybody that wants to donate on behalf of the 3x3 challenge, um, is tax deductible. We'll make sure that those necessary funds get to those colleges. I want to have a conversation with Swin, because again, the HBCU 3x3
Yes,
challenge,
Swin.
we definitely will have the championships in March. Let's have a conversation on those uniforms, man, for those 40 kids. Let's do some custom stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's outfit them the right way. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Right. Awesome. I'm excited for what's to become. I'm excited, Tanya. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's coming. This has been such a great conversation. And as always, guys, I just have to pay the bills.
Yes.
This conversation and its entire platform is brought to you by the Carolina Law Group. Everybody locally, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Columbia, because we have an office down there in Columbia and also in Greer. We're doing a food drive. It is the holiday season. As you can tell, today it's getting cold outside. A lot of families are starving. Us here at the Carolina Law Group at Sports and Culture Sports Media, we're trying to change that here in upstate and also in Columbia. So if you can please do us a favor and donate non-perishable items and unexpired goods to any of those 4 locations. Just tell them you heard it on Sports and Culture. You don't even have to do that. Just find it in your heart. Let's feed these families. We can do it. We can make this change.
Yeah.
Yes, Tanya.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Hey, amen. One step at a time.
Yes.
Everybody who tuned in and stuck with us, man, thank you so much for tuning in, however and wherever you checked out the podcast today. We appreciate your time, and we'll be right back at it next Wednesday.
Amen. Claflin University, man. We'll see you guys Sunday.
All right. See you.
See you, Claflin.
See you, Claflin.